Hello, hello. This is Cynthia with Cynthia Scott Insurance Agency. Listen, today we are discussing excluded drivers. What happens when you exclude a driver off of your auto insurance policy? There may be times when you live with a person who has a lot of claims. It could be an old person, it could be a young person, it could be someone that lives with you and they have a driver's license, but they don't have regular access to your vehicle. Now, it could be very costly to list them as household members on your insurance policy. So what do? Well, if they live in your household, however, you can't just leave them off of the list of household members. You should mention them. You should list them as household members. You make a decision whether you want them to be rated or excluded as a driver. Now, if the rates are affected because of their driving history, you may consider excluding them. Now, it could save you money, but it's also important for you to know that excluding a driver and making sure that they know that they are not covered. They're not covered by your insurance if they're excluded from the policy. They're not covered for liability, physical damage when driving a vehicle listed on a policy that they are excluded from. Now, insurance carriers, they judge a driver's risk on several factors. Many different situations can arise in wanting a driver excluded from a policy. Number one, the insurance carrier might want a driver excluded, or they may cancel the entire policy. Some common reasons for that could be a bad driving record, a suspended license, or too many claims. If someone lives with you and they fits into any one of these categories, the insurance company might insist that the dangerous driver won't be covered before they're willing to sell you an insurance policy. Number two, you might want to exclude a certain driver. Maybe you want to leave your teenagers off of your policy. Nothing that I suggest, because you don't want to pay the higher rates to insure them, or they're not following the rules and you said, hey, you've taken away their driving privileges. Or maybe you have a spouse, got a DUI, and no longer has a driver's license or a car. There are lots of reasons that comes around excluding a driver, the options. There are both pros and cons for excluding a driver. The main thing is to make sure that when the person is excluded, that they are not, and they're knowing that they are not covered. Okay? Excluded drivers should never drive the vehicle in which they're excluded from. Now, this is the same as driving without insurance, if you ask me. Okay? If an accident occurs, both the owner of the vehicle and the excluded driver could be held personally liable for the damages. So, how do you know if a driver is excluded? Well, drivers cannot be excluded without the named driver's permission. So, you do authorize, there's a signature required on a driver exclusion form. If you receive a notice or a cancellation from your insurance company due to a bad driver in your policy, you may ask them if excluding a high-risk driver is possible. So please, be careful when you make a decision to exclude a driver from your policy. Once there's an accident and the claim rep sees that there is an excluded driver on the policy, and that particular driver was driving, they are ready to get that excluded form in their hands so that they can deny the claim. Excluding drivers are not covered. Okay? This is Cynthia Scott with Cynthia Scott Insurance Agency, bringing you information, clarity, and education. Have a great one.